Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video I'm so excited to do. I'm going to be ranking all of the eyeshadow palettes and eye products that I tried in the month of March. This is a new series that I started on my channel in January. I love to rank makeup. I especially love to chat about eyeshadow palettes, and I thought it would be a fun way to incorporate an eyeshadow palette video every single month since I try out so many new palettes. So I can link my playlist down below. If you are new here, welcome. I would love if you would subscribe or double check that you are still subscribed. I know I'm having some issues right now with YouTube, so if you're a subscriber, maybe just take a second, double check. I love to talk about makeup, try makeup, and just chat about all things beauty. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, before we jump in, let me show you my outfit of the day. So today I have on this like pencil skirt and then this top here. So I just finished filming my Will I Buy It for the week. I'm not sure if this video is gonna go up. I don't really know when this video is gonna go up. So I'm filming this on Tuesday, but when this video goes up, you will know that I actually went to Minnesota during the week for the launch event for Sigma Beauty and their new spring collection. So I'm filming this on Tuesday. I leave in the morning and I still don't know exactly what it is that I'm wearing. I just finished filming the Will I Buy It and I had another outfit on in there that was a contender. This is another possible contender. I'm thinking I might throw this one into my bag, but I live in Las Vegas. The event's in Minneapolis, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's 40 degrees and snowing there. It's 88 degrees in Las Vegas. I don't have a lot of winter clothes in my closet anymore, so I was thinking about this, but with I have like a jacket, or maybe I'll pack a few blazers. I'm not really sure yet, so we're just, you know, trying things out while also filming videos. So I am filmed during the time that I'm gone and won't be able to film during the week. So very excited. I know I will have a vlog going up of my Sigma trip, but it's gonna be so much fun. But I'm so excited. I can't wait to see everybody and meet the Sigma team. And it's gonna be my first time going back to the Midwest since landing here in Vegas almost exactly 1 year ago. But I do always link all of my makeup down below if you're curious about anything that I'm trying on. I have a few first impressions on my TikTok with some products on my face today, like the Rare Beauty Skin Tint and the Givenchy Liquid Balm. You saw me haul this in my Shop With Me at Sephora vlog with me and Angelica Nyqvist, so I can link that one. And let's just jump into it. So we are gonna be going from 10 to 1 today. And I don't know, my number 10 spot, oh, also my hair, I don't know, it's just kind of like feeling like to the side. So I pinned it back. I don't usually do this, but I need to like shower and wash my hair and then see if I can attempt to self-tan tonight while also packing, while editing my Will I Buy It video. I'm not really sure it's gonna work out for me, but this is what we came up with for the hair. But for number 10, I don't know, some people, I don't know, I just feel like people are gonna get mad at me. But this is from Pat McGrath. This is the Divine Rose palette. And I mentioned in a video, I did a video all about unpopular opinions, and I talked about the Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes. Now, I like Pat McGrath as a brand, and I like the eyeshadow palettes, don't get me wrong, I like them. But these palettes are, this one anyways, this is a $125 eyeshadow palette. Now, I did purchase it, I believe I had a gift card, so like that helped out. But still, it's $125, that is very expensive, and I just don't quite see it for that price tag. I also really enjoy the Natasha Denona palettes. I have 2 Natasha palettes that I'll be mentioning in this video, and I really like her like $65 palettes. If this was more like $65, I think I would be singing a different tune. For $125 though, I just really struggle to recommend it, even with something like the Sephora sales going on now, even with something like a 20% off. I'm like, that is still really expensive. But I had pulled that out because I talked about it in my unpopular opinions video, and then I thought, okay, like let's be trying it out again, like let's see what we come up with. And so I did a look one night, wearing it in my one and done video, I believe it is, talking about brands that I've only tried one product from, would I try them again? And I'm wearing, my favorite shade in the palette is this really beautiful kind of like dusty rose mauve shade. And then I have the shimmer here on top. And I'll say, I went out to dinner that night, and by the time I got home, the shimmer was like all over my face. The eyeshadow was almost completely worn away, and I really don't have a lot of issues with my shadows fading, especially because I got ready kind of later in the day, and then I wasn't even out late at night. There's times where I get ready early and I'm out the whole night and my eyeshadow still sticks up, like holds up just fine. This one, I just, again, I feel like the quality is not as top notch as it could be. And then especially when you add the price tag on top of that, it's just really hard for me to recommend Pat McGrath palettes. And I know when I put in my unpopular opinions video, I was like, people are gonna be mad at me. And people were, my favorite comment was, You talked about the Pat McGrath palettes so much I went and bought one. Like, good for you, Judy. Like, I hope that you like it. Like, I don't know what to say about that. We all have different makeup preferences. I can just give you my opinion, and in my opinion, I don't think that they're worth the money. So something that I think is gonna be interesting about doing this series every month is that I am going to have palettes overlap in the months. And the point of this video was to just talk about all of the palettes that I'm trying and the eye products that I'm trying. The point of it was to not only talk about the new makeup. I know being in the beauty community online, we constantly are being hammered with new makeup. I just filmed my new makeup releases. I post that video every single week, and it's typically between 20 and 40 minutes long, going over all the new makeup releases. But I wanted to be able to focus on older products as well, and I especially wanted it to be able to help me go through what's already in my collection. I posted some videos over the weekend with my friend Angelica Nikfes, who was visiting me, and in one of our videos, we had videos going up on both of our channels, but in one of our videos, she said, I was so surprised at your makeup collection. It's so small, especially for a YouTuber. It's not like a minimal makeup collection, but for someone who does this as a career, my makeup collection is very small. And I said, yes, I said, I decluttered a lot. It was too overwhelming, especially downsizing. It just was too much. I didn't want this much makeup, especially makeup that was just collecting dust. It just didn't seem necessary. So I want to be able to go through what I have in my collection. That was kind of a point of this big declutter. So being able to do this series kind of helps me revisit some of those older palettes, because I think, oh, you know, now I can put this in a video and I can talk about it and where it falls with all these other eye products that I've been talking about. But sometimes palettes are going to overlap, especially new ones that I'm testing out. But I think it's going to be kind of interesting to see, because depending on what else I tried that month, it's going to differentiate for where I rank them. Does that make sense? So from my next one at number 9, this is from Urban Decay, and this is the Wild Greens palette. So I did chat about this last month, and once again, it was towards the bottom. I think it was the last, like at the, how do you say that? It was at the bottom of the list, but like the first product that I was talking about. It's not that it's a bad palette. I reviewed this a few times now. So it's not that it's a bad palette, it just doesn't overwhelm me in any sort of way, but sometimes that's what we're looking for, sometimes that's what we want. The mattes are really easy to build up. The shimmers are pretty, you know, they don't have the most amount of oomph to them. Maybe using your fingers or something like a damp makeup brush, that might be able to help to get some oomph to them. But it's kind of like that nice everyday palette with a few pops of color. It's not gonna be super overwhelming if you're a huge color fan or you like shadows that have more payoff right away. Probably not gonna be the palette for you, but I don't think that it's a bad one. It's just not necessarily a favorite of mine by any means. Coming in at number 8, I have from Colourpop. We got a lot of Colourpop in this video, just a heads up. But from Colourpop, we have their Avatar palette. So this is the Avatar, The Last Airbender, which is not a movie. It's not the movie with the blue people. I learned that very quickly after I spoke quite confidently about that in my Will I Buy It video. Turns out it's actually a show. Turns out I don't really ever know what I'm talking about when it comes with these collections and these collaborations, but there you have it. So with the Avatar collection, I have only done 2 looks with it so far, and one that I did was pretty neutral. Another one that I did, I was using some of these reds in here, and happy to say I do talk about quite often that I have very sensitive eyes. I have reactions to lashes, lash glue, mascaras, red, purple, or pink eyeshadows, but it's not it's not just like I see a red shadow and I immediately know it's going to cause me sensitivity. It is pretty hit or miss. Not a lot of Colourpop palettes give me eye sensitivity, and I have tried a plethora of eyeshadow palettes from Colourpop, and the red in this palette did absolutely nothing to my eyes, didn't hurt them at all, didn't irritate them at all. So I wanted to mention that because I know actually quite a few of you also do have what seems like similar eye sensitivities to me. So for this palette, I think the quality is really nice. Colourpop can be a little bit hit or miss sometimes. This palette retailed for $22, and you have 12 different shades in here. The thing to me is the collaboration doesn't really speak to me at all. Again, I didn't even know what Avatar The Last Airbender was, so the collaboration part doesn't do anything for me. And the color scheme, I'm just kind of like, okay, you know, maybe if I want to do a little blue, that's fun. Or I like to play with the red color, so like that's fun. You can get some neutrals out of here, but it's like, is it gonna be one of those palettes that I'm like, oh, this is the one that I have to reach into? No, I'm gonna have favorites over that. The quality is nice though. Colourpop can be a little bit hit or miss on their qualities, especially when it comes to their collaborations. But I actually thought the quality in here was really nice. Quite honestly, this is gonna sound like such a Samantha March thing to say, but the shade Earth Kingdom, this very neutral, almost like cool toned brown, that's actually a really beautiful shadow. It blends super smoothly. It just, one day I just used it to kind of like contour my eyes a little bit. Like I wasn't really doing eyeshadow, but I just threw a little bit in the crease, a little bit above as like an eye contour, and I thought that was, it's actually quite nice. So there's that. It's just like, it's a good palette. At number 7, we have another repeat from last month, and that is from Colourpop, and that was their Star Wars collection, and this is the Darth Vader palette. I was like looking right at him, and I was like, Lucas, is that you? Lucas. Like I'm telling you, I really have no idea what I'm talking about. But, you know, again, I don't really have a lot of different thoughts from what I said last month. Last month was definitely the point that I was trying it the most. I just had a little bit, or I'm saying last month, but I mean February, but I tried it a little bit in March as well. I will say probably my favorite shade out of here is the Super Shock. I really like when they put the Super Shocks in palettes. I think it really makes it. Again, it's just a little bit on the darker side for what I prefer. You know, I'm wearing the Natasha Denona Pastel palette today, which I think is really pretty, but I usually tend to go for a little bit more like lighter looks, so it's a little bit on the darker side for me. The red is a fun pop. I actually enjoy the quality on this one too. Again, I kind of become accustomed to Colourpop collaborations being not the best quality, but this is another nice one, so it's good. It's a good palette, it's not a favorite. We are not done with Colourpop next. Next up, we have at number 6, this is the In the Limelight palette. I was really excited about this palette. I don't know if everyone was as excited about this collection as I was, but I was pretty stoked for it because I love the color green. It's quite funny to me, I was just mentioning this in my Will I Buy It video, but a lot of people tell me, especially because Angie was just here and she loves color so much, I hear a lot of like, I don't wear color and I don't like color. And I genuinely don't think that's true. And Angie said something that when I was editing the video back, it stuck out to me. But she said we just approach our makeup in a different way. Our makeup looks in a different way. And the thing is like, I like color, but when I do color, I don't do super bold looks. I don't mix a lot of bold colors together. I don't do liner looks. Oftentimes I don't wear lashes because they can irritate my eyes and that sort of thing. But I like a green look. I like a purple look. I like a red look. I like a blue look that I did with the pastel palette. But I do it in a little bit more of maybe like a softer way. Like again, it's just not quite as bold as what someone like Angelica does, or some of my other friends like Heather Austin and Karen Harris that really like these bold, colorful looks. I like the more like simple, colorful looks. I don't know, I need to figure out what to call that. Because I'm like, I really want to stop saying that I don't like color because I do. And again, when this collection was coming out, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited because I like green so much. So I'm like, I gotta figure out like what to call my makeup style. I'm not really sure, like simplistic color, like I'm not sure. I gotta figure that out. If you have any suggestions, definitely let me know. But this palette, I was a little bit sad because I didn't love it as much as I thought that I was going to. Like I kind of thought, even though I like a little bit more of like the olive green, the army green, and this is not quite those tones, I still really thought I was going to like it. And then with the addition of this matte pink, I was like, okay, this is gonna be fun. And I thought that I created some fun looks, but honestly, what I liked even more from the collection was the Jelly Much shadows, which I will be talking about soon. I did really like the shade, let me flip the palette here. The shade Palms I thought was really beautiful. Also the shimmer in Playdate. Those were the two that I really enjoyed, but some of the other greens, and especially the mattes, they're just not my particular tone of green, and I felt like I was kind of doing the same. That's why I was pulling in the Jelly Muches so much. And then this matte pink that I was so excited about is very, very light. I had to build it up so much. I really couldn't see much with it. I did think this Almost Famous is a very light kind of lime green with some shimmer to it. That made for a really fun inner corner. If you're looking for like a way that you can make your makeup pop without being too overwhelming, is a pop of color on the inner corner. Even something like lash line or liner, things like that, that can really add to a look. Even if you do something more neutral, that's how you can bring in color. And I did a look like that once with this palette, and I thought it was fun. I'm wishing I liked it a little bit more, like how I was like so excited for it when it first released. I still think it's a good palette. It's just definitely not going to be my favorite, you know, green inspired palette. But like I said, from this collection, the Jelly Much shadows I really, really enjoyed. So these are coming in at number 5. These retail for $9 each, or you can buy the trio for $25. These I thought were a lot of fun. So I always link everything in my description box. Like I mentioned, I link all the makeup that I'm wearing, but I also link the products that I'm wearing. And I do use affiliate links, so I always like to say that if you do shop with those, then I thank you so much, because it just helps support my channel and helps me be able to put back into it. So I do really appreciate that. But I also, when I do these style of videos, I link anything, an Instagram tutorial, a YouTube video, a TikTok first impression, anything like that. I will also put them in the description box. So if you're looking, I should have photos popping up in here as well. But if you're looking for demos or tutorials, you can find those in my description box. These I was very surprised, because I tried the Jelly Much shadows years ago when they first came out, and I was not a fan. Now, my makeup style was very different then. The way I applied my makeup was different. I didn't like putting my fingers in makeup. I didn't like single shadows. I didn't really like cream eye products. So the Jelly Much shadows were they were not gonna work out with the style that I enjoyed back then. This one is the shade Memoir. Super beautiful, super fun. I wore this one on St. Patrick's Day and I got so many compliments on it. For the Jelly Much shadows, like now I like kind of more quicker looks for me, and that means like applying one shadow with my finger, boom, out the door. Super easy to apply these. Now you do want to make sure that you keep the little plastic in them, because I did also learn when I first got these that if you take these out, this will dry up super fast. This is Scandal. This is definitely my favorite from the collection. I just think that it's so freaking gorgeous. It's kind of like that Dirty Money shade, which is so pretty. Just this all over the lid, maybe a little bit of like a matte green to blend it out, but so pretty. And then we also have Heartthrob. I've worn all of these. I've been so complimented every single time that I wear these. This one is kind of like slime, like that's how I described it in the video that I did with it. But I was a lot more impressed with the Jelly Much shadows, and I love that I have these in a green, because I have a lot of Super Shocks that are more neutral, you know, the champagne shimmers, the bronzy shimmers, and that sort of thing, but I don't have a lot of greens in my collection. So to just have these 3 green singles, if I'm like looking to just do something fun with color, but still on my terms, a little bit more on that simpler side, and I can just dip a finger in, boom, boom, and go. Like, I'm all for that. So I was really impressed with those. At number 4, I have the collab palette with Adept Cosmetics and my friend Heather Austin. So I'm so excited about this. Now I have only done one look with it, but it swatched beautifully. The first look that I did was so easy to use. So I still wanted to rank it pretty high, because I'm just genuinely like, I'm very excited about this palette, and I love my first look. And the shimmers and like the duochromes in here are just like on another level, and I'm so proud of Heather. So this one actually did sell out. Again, congratulations to Heather, because that's freaking amazing. But it is available now for pre-order on the Adept Cosmetics website, so I'll have it linked down below. I believe it said it's going to be shipping in May. So this one is $56, and I think that this one is so pretty. Obviously, I love the shade names. Heather is a friend of mine, so like each one I totally get the meaning behind the names. I said the duochromes, I don't know if you can see like the shift in the palette on camera here, but they are just super stunning. Indie brands impress me so much with the different like types of shades, the finishes, just the qualities that they can put out in their eyeshadow palettes continues to impress me. I like that we have some of the grungy tones over here. I know some people, like, we look at these and we immediately think like subculture vibes, but the palette is very different from the subculture, of course, and you're gonna get finishes that just aren't seen in any Anastasia palettes. This is gonna be a palette definitely that's like more of when I wanna go outside of my comfort zone, but it doesn't always have to be that way. And just even some of these over here in this corner, you can create more on that neutral side of a look. But again, when I go into this, these shimmers are just like, that's what I wanna go into, because they're beautiful and they're like wet looking, and I just was really excited about this, really excited for Heather. And again, if you're interested, you can pre-order it. Coming in at number 3, again, a newer palette to me, but this is from Natasha Denona, the Pastel palette. Again, it is what I'm wearing on my eyes today. So I just used Tulle pretty much all over the lid. Then I added Dainty just with my finger, again, all over the lid. And on the lower lash line, I just mixed a few different shades. I did Tulle, I did Feather, I did a little bit of Limoncello. Limoncello is also on my inner corner for this one. And the other look that I did was a more blue look. So I used Bubble and also Airy. And again, that was a colorful look, and just in my own terms, in my own way. It wasn't super bold, it wasn't super out there. I didn't use lashes with it, you know, just had some mascara. and I loved it. I thought that it was such a beautiful look. Like, it was color without being too overpowering for me, and I still felt really confident. I felt really pretty. I had a blue dress on. I got so many compliments on that look, and I was so happy because I don't gravitate towards blue very often, and I was trying to figure out what color scheme I wanted to do today. So I've done the 2 looks with it, and I just have to say, every time I look at this palette, there's another look that I want to do with it. I want to play with the greens. I definitely want to play with this purple. Angie used this in the video where she does my makeup. She used her collaborations with Kaleidos and also Odin's Eye, the Club Nebula and the Hella palette, but then she also used the Pastel, and I know that she went into Zest and also Airy and used those to create the green and blue makeup look that she did. Now, I love Natasha palettes. Again, this one is $65. You got the big mirror here. I think her quality is fantastic. The cream to powder shades that she has in her palettes are some of my absolute favorites. I went back and forth on purchasing the Pastel palette because I'm not a huge pastel wearer. As we go more into springtime, that is more what I get into, and I have some fun with the pastel looks during this time. It's just not my absolute go-to by any means, but this palette has impressed me more than I thought that I was going to. Sure, there's some shades where, like today with the Tulle shade, like I built it up quite a bit to get it to where I want it on my eyelids, but nothing like, I wasn't becoming frustrated. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm wasting so much time building up this shadow. And I like more buildable shadows. That's just my style personally. And so far, I'm super happy with this one. Again, I've only done the 2 looks, but I'm really quite pleased with both of them that I've come up with. At number 2, I have a little bit of a mixture here, but I just absolutely loved this look, and both of these palettes are ones that I've had for a while. So again, with some of the newer ones, the Pastel palette I've only tried twice. The Heather and Adept Cosmetics, I've only been able to try the 1 time. So again, with these ranking videos, sometimes it's a little bit tough because it's not like it's a full-on review for some of these, because I'm just chatting about what I've tried this month versus when I do like ranking all of the makeup that I've been trying. Those are ones that I put products in there that I've tried at least 3 times. I can really give you my review. This is more just like a fun, casual, chatty video. Let's talk about the eyeshadow palettes. But this next one, I loved the look I did. And it's just such, it's one of those looks where I feel the most confident in. Just a brown smoky eye, like a simple little liner. I felt very confident. I was so happy with it. So I wanted to put this in at number 2. So for that look, I used the Wild Child palette from Colourpop, which is beautiful. I so enjoy this palette. I believe this one retails for $14. Really, just a favorite of mine. This is beautiful. I love brown makeup looks. I love a brown smoky eye. I love brown neutral looks. Like, I really do love them. So this palette is beautiful. But then I also did a little bit of Creme Brulee because I felt like I just needed a lighter brown shade as well, and this is a really great neutral brown. I'm also trying to hit pan on this. It is in my Project Pan. And then I also used a little bit of Peach Smoothie. So these are both from Makeup Geek. They're not available anymore. Makeup Geek is going out of business, which is very, very sad. And these are 2 of my original shadows that I purchased from Makeup Geek years ago. I do have quite a dent in Creme Brulee. Again, like I said, it's in my Project Pan. I'm really trying to hit pan on that one. So when I was looking at the Wild Child and trying to decide what eye look I wanted to do, I was like, I just feel like even Spot It was gonna be a little bit too dark. So that's why I pulled in the Creme Brulee, because you can see it's like just a little bit more neutral. But the mixture of the 2, I loved my look so much. I obviously know that I enjoy the Makeup Geek shadows. I'm very sad that they're going out of business because I think they made some really quality stuff. But also the Wild Child palette is just, it's just one of those that I always go back to. Okay, I have just a few minutes to get ready. I'll just dip into the Wild Child. Boom, done. But speaking of eyeshadow palettes that I just know I can go into and create a beautiful look, at number 1 is another holy grail favorite of mine. It's the Natasha Denona Mini Nude eyeshadow palette. This is just one of my absolute favorites in my collection. I actually took this with me when we went to Napa Valley for my birthday trip. I was just taking a pretty small carry-on because we were flying into San Francisco, not a very long flight. We were just there for the 2 nights. I was like, okay, I don't want to pack a ton of makeup. I did do what's in my makeup bag on my TikTok, which is by Samantha March, if you're curious to see what I packed. And I'm looking over what I want to try. I thought about bringing the Pastel palette because I had just gotten it, but I was like, no, I want to bring just the small Allie Glines makeup bags. And I was like, why would I not bring the Mini Nude? And this is what I wore all weekend. It's what I wore when we went to the wineries. And it's just, look at that pan. This shade, actually, I'm trying to be careful because it looks like it broke a little bit. So I tried to press it back in. I have had this, do I have pan in this other one too? No. I don't have pan in the shimmer yet, but it looks like it's about to happen at any time. Angie was saying in one of her videos that she saw this in my collection and she was like, it's dehydrated, it needs a drink of water, like it's been used so much, and it has. This palette has gone everywhere with me. I've used it over and over and over again. I have recommended it over and over and over again. And I just think that it's fabulous. These are $25. If there is a mini from Natasha Denona that speaks to you, because she has a lot available, especially now when the sale is going on. I believe at the time this video goes up, everyone can shop Rouge, BIB, Beauty Insider. If you can get even 10% off the $25, like, these are just my favorite palettes. So I knew that this was gonna be #1 in this video, and I just can't help it. I love it. So simple, so easy to create beautiful looks. I just love the Natasha formula. But after that, that is going to do it for today's video, ranking all of the palettes that I tried in the month of March. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful or fun. And as always, if you did, please make sure to give this one a thumbs up. I hope you also consider subscribing before you go, and I'll see you in my next one.